on a very rare, dry and sunny April day, I decided to check out the Elora-Cataract Trailway. It's advertised as being approximately 46 kilometers long, so to go from one end to the other and then back again was going to be over 90 kilometers. Just to be different, I decided to do it from Cataract to Elora and then back to Cataract. When I got to the Cataract end of the trail, there were orange cones set up. Now, I have no idea if they were official, I have no idea who put them there, but I didn't really want to mess with that, so I kept driving the country roads until I could find access to the trail at a point where I didn't think I was going to get towed. Almost immediately, I noticed that unlike a lot of the other trails, this one didn't seem to have a very good top layer of crushed limestone. And so the trail underneath was very rutted, and it looks like it's been used by horses quite a bit. Now, I should be clear, this didn't in any way affect the enjoyment at all. In fact, it kind of made it a bit more interesting because you were having to concentrate the whole way. But it definitely was more tiring because the vibrations were going up through my arms and up through the small of my back. And it was much slower than some of the other trails as well because of the surface. I thought at first that maybe the rough surface would only last for a couple of kilometers, but it actually ended up lasting for just about the whole trail.
On your left. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
There were places where recent rains had made the surface of the trail very, very slick, and so I was having to jump from one side to the other just to find the best path to take. Much of the trail goes through agricultural land, and just judging by what I saw, it looked like there was obviously a lot of dairy farming, beef farming, other kinds of livestock, as well as large fields where it looked like they were growing grain crops. Eventually you hit the banks of the Grand River, and the point at where you hit it is at Bellwood Lake, which is a 12-kilometer long lake that was formed in 1942 when they built the Shan Dam just downriver. So this behind me is the Grand River, and it's actually a really interesting river because the source of it is way up in Dundalk. And now most rivers would flow into the nearest big body of water, which would be in that case Georgian Bay or Lake Huron, because they're both really close to Dundalk. But this actually flows 280 kilometers south, away from Georgian Bay, away from Lake Huron and into Lake Erie, and as it goes it picks up all these little tributaries, and that's why it's become such a big river. And then you got this thing here, which is a dam, and it reduces it all down to that. The Shan Dam was actually the first large-scale multi-purpose dam in the whole of Canada, and it actually holds water back to prevent flooding, and then in the much drier summer months the gates are opened and it can feed fresh water to communities downstream. So that was a bit strange. I was riding along and the kilometre signs were ticking down and telling me I had 5 kilometers to go, then 4 kilometers, and then all of a sudden the trail came to an end at a road, and then the other side of the road you could see the remnants of a rail bridge, but there was no way across to it, and it led straight into a factory area. So I rode around the streets for a while in what was Fergus and not Elora, and then I decided, well, I've got to go all the way back, and it's going to be probably about 35 kilometers from here to my car. So I decided I better turn back because I'm already pretty tired, and the idea wasn't to drive myself into the ground. But anyway, it's still very nice. As you can see, lots of open farmers' fields, and nice and quiet. A quick look at a map when I got home showed me I was only like a street or two away from rejoining the trail on the west side of Fergus. Go figure. Large red and white poles on the top of the dam house massive screws, and when they're turned they actually lift the floodgates and close them again. This is a rare straight piece of trail. This has actually been a pretty windy trail, which makes it pretty interesting. Unlike some of the others I've been on, you're just traveling in a straight line for 10-15 kilometers. At this point, the constant shaking through my arms and through my back had made me really tired, and I was kind of looking forward to the end of the trail. There's evidence of the old railway line all along here. If you can see, half buried in the grass there are the old sleepers that they would have used for making the tracks, and there are actually a whole ton more of those down that way. And I've got about another 2 kilometers to go and then I'm done. As I mentioned before, the roughness of this trail kind of made it an interesting and fun challenge. Having said that, if you are going to ride here, make sure your bike is properly maintained. Also, allow yourself a little bit more time than you normally would, because you're not going to be going quite as fast. And expect to feel just a little bit more tired than you might have anticipated.